Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It has been a cold week here in New England this week for certain, but excited to be here for the live stream today. This one will be a little bit interesting. I've got the kiddos. Ashley is down at Mass General Pediatrics with our lovely daughter Eliana getting her treatment. But super excited to be here today with you guys. Wouldn't just bail on a Sunday. Got to be here with my people, dropping some knowledge. If you guys didn't see Dion's video with the three amigos this week, the one that's on his channel, that dude's so funny. He cracking me up, man. Cracking me up. We were in. You got to watch the video that three amigos that we did this week. It was about syndications. I share all my feelings on syndications on that one. And so it was just a lot of fun. He does an amazing job editing. So I love working with Dion. It's a lot of fun. It's not work at all. So it's good. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen that video on his channel about syndication, definitely check it out. And then wanted to talk to you guys this morning. And quick note, my kids will probably come in and out of the room. So hopefully that doesn't bother or distract you too much. And if it does, just get off my live stream. I'm kidding. But yeah, the kids are going to come in and out, I'm sure. They've got some stuff going on in the other room where they're playing and things like that. So fingers crossed, if one goes to crying, I'll probably hit the mute and just excuse myself for a second, but they're good. They're happy now. So we'll let them kind of do their thing. Yeah, it was a crazy busy week. We had ice storms, snowstorm of 10 inches. We had below zero temperatures 2 nights. One was wind chill of -20. I'm a nut job for doing this in this market, but I guess somebody's going to do it, I suppose. So if you're thinking about investing remotely, there you go. That's how much fun it is. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you absolutely should be. We spend a bunch of time every single day. I spend time going through what we're doing at our job sites and trying to think of a tip or a trick that will help you guys. And so every single time I post something, this is what this looks like when it breaks, or this is what it looks like how you can redo it. So please follow me on Instagram. It's Lumberjack. It's at Lumberjack Landlord. It's worth even having an account, even if you just follow me, because I will post something every single day, sharing with you guys what my journey is in the real estate game. I'm keeping an ear out for the kids, but also, what else did I want to add? Keeping an ear out for the kids. Yep. Today we're probably only going to go about an hour. Because that's probably about as long as they will keep each other alive. They're great kids. They're super well behaved, and they don't get chance to watch much on TV and such. So if you just give them a movie that they love, they will actually enjoy that. So yeah. So super excited to be here with you guys. So let's get through the hellos. Hip Hop Silver, hey, good morning. Great day to find a great deal. It's always is. Nathan Mirth, morning Lumberjack. Good morning, sir. Good to see you. Khan, good morning. Yep. Kenny Kim, good morning. Lumberjack and all. Yep. Great to have you here. Mark, great to have you as well. Good morning. Happy Sunday to you as well. Jay Markey, good morning. Good morning to you. Crimson Knight was notified of water heater bursting 15 minutes ago. Oh, no damage because of cement dirt basement. Yep. Yeah, it's just about the nice advice before you call a plumber. No, I don't think there's any. Just shut off the water. Just shut off the water. Outside of that, no advice. No advice on that one. If it's a electric hot water heater, you're going to spend probably less than $1,000 getting one swapped out. If it's a gas, it's probably going to be between $1,600 and $1,800 is my guess. That's ballpark what I expect you to see. But yeah, no advice or anything, any other stuff. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Contractors working on Sunday. You guys know the rules. If you haven't been with me on my live stream, I have contractors that are absolutely working in the field while I do my live stream. We don't force them to work Sundays, but many of them are hustlers. They like to make the extra money. We reward that. We want to help them with their side hustle. And so I have guys working today. And so I always want to make sure to get back to them with time. Your space is clear, and it is clear, and this huge help. Thank you. Okay, so back. Sorry, guys. Appreciate that. Still just trying to run my business, right? Wow, lots of questions super fast. Super glad to have you guys here with me though this morning. Kenny Kim, do you think this year is still a good time to buy, add more rental houses considering rising home prices and interest rates? What do you think? Yes. Yep, I'm still buying. So I never tell anybody else what to do, but ask me what I'm doing and I will always answer and tell you what I'm doing. Oh, here come a couple of the kiddos. They think I'm actually watching Moana. They walked away. Now they're back. Hold on one quick second. All set. See, that was easy. I heard the pounding of feet. All right. So for those of you who are just joining, Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord, super excited to be here. Ashley's down at Mass General Pediatrics with Eliana. They should be home tonight. A little bit of a delay, couple day delay. Everything's okay. Just when you do chemo, sometimes you have these delays. And so I've got the other two kids, but they're in the other room. They're entertaining themselves. All sharp objects are put away, as well our power tools. So you might see me need to jump up, but we're still going to try and do as much of this as we can today, at least an hour, because they're usually really good for an hour, and then negotiations start being needed. But yeah, super excited to be here. So we'll get through it. If you see me look at my phone, it's because I have contractors out in the field today. We are trying to get things done. We did have a minus 15 or minus 6 degrees real temperature last night. So it was kind of crazy. Yeah, we're going to talk about a bunch of items today. One of them is a strategy that I've actually implemented. I don't recommend you do any of my strategies. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and how I'm winning deals. Because quite frankly, if you're trying to buy and you're in my market, I'm beating you with that strategy. Yeah, I'm certainly going to walk you guys through that strategy today. I did a video with Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time on it. He didn't really like the strategy, and that's okay. We don't disagree on much, and like I said, different strokes for different folks. So it's all good. You can't take anything away from all the amazing things that he's done. Yeah, I like the strategy. I'm going to ask you guys feedback on the strategy because somebody said it was dishonest. I don't think it's dishonest. I think it's going through a process and managing to the rules and terms of the agreement. And so I think it's playing it by the letter of the law. And that's what I'm going to kind of run it past you guys and get your thoughts on it. But we're going to burn through these questions real quick, make sure that I start from a solid place, and then we'll get you guys feedback. That way you guys can pop up on the screen and let me know what you think. Matt Herbert. Hey, good morning, Matt. Hopefully Tina is well. Hopefully that worked out for you guys. Obviously she can't tell me because she's a banker. Crimson Knight. Tenant was smart enough to shut water and gas. Wow, that's a great tenant right there. I love that. Svetin Surakov. Svetin. I hope I got your name right. Svetin Surakov. Matt Herbert, have you ever used Resilient Channel to help with soundproofing? Yes, I didn't really like it. It didn't really work very well. The thing that worked much better was Safe and Sound, which is a Roxel product. And then plasticking over the Safe and Sound in between the two barriers. That I found did a much better job of soundproofing things. And then I also used something called Quiet Rock on the party wall. A party wall is any wall that's shared one unit to another. You use something called Quiet Rock. It is only 1 inch thick, but it has the density of 9 inches of sheetrock, or excuse me, not 9 inches, 9 pieces of sheetrock. So I use the Quiet Rock on those party walls. It's quite a bit more expensive, but I never get sound complaints on places where I use the Quiet Rock. So there you go. There's a quick answer for you. John Doe, good morning. Good morning, John Doe. Wasn't because of cold weather. Second floor heater right next to it from 2008 is just fine. Yeah, could be. Yeah. It's probably not just a cold thing. Nate and Jess, personal finance, travel, investing. Hey, good morning, Nate and Jess. Excited to have you guys here. Good morning. Also, something was mentioned about illegal gas hookup to that hot water heater. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I wonder what would make it illegal, though. Dustin Wachter, good morning. This is my therapy while completing my master's degree. The distraction. I might not be able to do the boring homework. Hey, man, you're better off than me, my man. I can't. I didn't get out of the 9th grade, so don't ask me about homework. But I'm glad I can be that delay or that distraction. Sorry. Eric Saleh, I consider that deal working in the gray area, coming from the motor racing scene. We live in that area. Okay. I consider that deal working in the gray area. Yeah. Yep. And people can consider, I mean, you don't have to, again, my strategy. I'll cover that strategy as soon as I finish Dustin's follow-up. Quick shout out to the three amigos. By doing the work, I'm able to quickly identify a potential deal when they pop up and what price would make a great deal going to open house at noon. Love it. That's exactly what we do this for. So I love that. I hope you win. I hope you find a great deal. All right. We got through all the questions. So I'm going to hit you with strategy. So I did a video. It's on my channel yesterday, so I won't go too in depth, but I will give you enough proof points. The strategy that I've used is so many people often tell me I want inspections in there, but as soon as I put inspections in there, I don't get the deal. All right. So that's going to kill every single one of your deals probably right now is inspections. Me personally, I wouldn't buy a property, largely speaking. I've done it with a few. But largely speaking, I don't buy properties without inspections. However, you can get over the hump by having an informational only inspection. So in the very last deal that I did, they had 9 offers. Of those 9 offers, I was number 3 or number 4. With the way they said it, it wasn't clear if I was number 3 or number 4, so I don't want to mislead anybody. But I was number 3 or number 4 in the deal, and they took my deal. So when they took my deal, I said that the inspections were informational only. The reason I do informational only is because I want to, I still want to give my chance a good chance to be in the deal and actually get my deal looked at and accepted so I can do some additional due diligence, number 1. Number 2 is I recognize that the deal can't fall apart because of the inspection. Totally get that. However, it gives me 2 options. The first option that it gives me is we find something crazy, horrible, dramatically wrong, right? Some significant defect, not the $2,000 stuff or the $1,000 stuff or the this or the that. That would be dishonest if that was the type of stuff I was trying to unearth and then still handing them over the head and saying, I want all these credits. It's truly to find big life safety issues. There's mold, there's knob and tube wiring that is a safety risk and can't be insured. The big stuff, the big stuff that will become a huge problem. So there's really 2 things that you can do. So I just did a deal where we found and it was inspection for informational purposes only. We went back to them and just said, hey, listen, you've got knob and tube and you've got a hole in the roof and it's leaking and it's actually created some mold. So we can do a couple of things here. We can either A, kill the deal, and they can try and keep the deposit. The problem is that so long as they try and keep that deposit, they can't remarket the product. They can't remarket the house when they try and keep the deposit. So the second thing is that because the bank is my partner in every single deal, I finance almost every deal, not all of them, but almost every one of them. And if I buy it for cash, I usually will then try and refinance it later to pull cash out. I would then go to the bank and say, hey, because you're my business partner in this deal, because you're the bank, I'm not keeping the inspection secret. I don't believe in that. I believe in here's all the cards, here's exactly what we're looking at because the bank is my partner. So I show the bank, hey, it needs $20,000 worth of work. It needs 20 grand worth of work. I want to let you know because this likely will affect financing and whether or not you, the bank, want to finance it. I don't want my partner, the bank, finding out that I did a dirty deal that had $25,000 or $30,000 or $20,000 worth of repairs in it that weren't accounted for. So if they at that point say, you know what, we don't want to do this deal with you unless you're going to get a credit for that 20 grand or some portion thereof, that's who I'm in business with. I'm in business with my bank. They try to protect me and themselves with an appraisal. I try to protect me and them with an inspection. So the fact that somebody called this dishonest, I disagree with. So my personal approach with that deal was, hey, you've now been notified. Any other buyer that you try and bring in to buy this property, by law, you have to disclose that it has knob and tube, and that creates an insurance issue, and that it has a leaky roof that's apparently caused some mold. So they have the option at that point to say, okay, we'll give you a credit, or no, too bad, so sad, no inspection, or no consideration for inspection, way it goes. And then I leave it up to my bank to make their decision. So everybody's on the same page. Somebody calling this underhanded, I completely disagree with. I don't think it's dishonest. I think it is absolutely taking things through the process and actually more honest than most buyers or most sellers would ever be with their bank. And I think, or agents for that matter, either real estate agents as well. So let me know what you guys think. That was my strategy. That was the one I covered in the video yesterday. Mike didn't like it. And you can see that in my video on my channel. Go ahead and watch it. And the feedback that I've gotten from viewers so far is that they thought it was dishonest. I disagree. But I would love to get your guys' thoughts on things. So I'll jump back into the questions. Kip Stevens, good morning, buddy. Hope all is well with the family. Thank you, Kip. I appreciate that. They are well. They're just delayed in coming home, so we'll be home later on tonight. Amafid, Zuber made Business Insider. Pretty cool. Yeah, that is very awesome. Yeah, it was a good connection he made with Todd Baldwin. And so Todd Baldwin set that up. That was cool because that's really what it's about. We want to share this with as many people as we can. Landlubber, hi again. I've got a rental built in the 50s. Yep. Finished the basement and didn't account for moisture. Yep. So drywall and ceiling tiles are moldy now. Yep. Should I bother finishing the space after demoing? I think that, yeah, I think you absolutely should, especially if a lot of other stuff is down there already to be able to do that. There are companies out there after you demo everything, you can actually then, basically scrub all the 2x4s. You can clean everything up and then paint it with kills. So stuff will actually grow back. But you have to find out why it's moist and fix the moisture problem. I wouldn't rebuild it until you fix the moisture problem. But personally, space like that is invaluable. Even if you demo the whole thing and then spend some time and money to waterproof the basement, or do whatever needs to be done so that doesn't happen again. Usually it's gutters that don't have proper downspouts or poor drainage or no French drain or a clogged French drain or any number of the different scenarios. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think, if I can add a unit or significant square footage to a house for, $15,000, I do it. I don't put additions on my places because they're like $400 a foot. So to add, 500 square feet, it's at an it's a couple $100,000. It can be $100,000, no problem. But that's just me. So yeah, that's what I would do. REI Trainer. Good morning. Duplexes are going over asking in days here now. Yep. Just lost on 2 duplexes in a single family home. Yep. Looking at off market deals now. Yep. Thanks for sharing your wisdom today. Happy to do it. Matt Herbert, are you aware of any shortages with rock wool insulation? I can't find it at Lowe's or Home Depot. So Lowe's or Home Depot don't really don't stock it anymore. They started stocking a different product from I think Owens Corning, because Owens Corning came out with a competing product. Matt, your best option is LaValley's Middleton. They've got some places up in your area, but check out LaValley Middleton. Give them if you have an LLC, you can give them that information and they will actually give you a business account, a contractor account. I have one with them. And almost anything I can get to my location in 5 days. And so I would absolutely recommend. There's not been a shortage of it available for purchase, just Home Depot and Lowe's. Their big box stores may suck in a nice way. No code on. Good morning. Hey, good morning. No, Don. Good morning. Good to have you. Just listen to the kiddos. Jay Markey, is information only inspection the same as pass fail? No, it can be. Depends on who you ask. Pass fail means that you can give them a failing grade and you can still walk away and take your deposit automatically. Usually the inspections that I would do, so I've done pass fail, but I've also done informational only. And informational only is I'm still locked into the deposit. They would get to keep my deposit unless I always have the contingency in there for financing, because I don't know what bank rule is going to change. So because I don't know what bank rule is going to change, I have to have some sort of contingency in there for financing. So, and you guys can honestly tell me if you think this is dishonest, by all means. I'm not going to stop doing it. It's a strategy that I came up with and I keep on winning deals with it. And I've followed through on every single one of my deals. Somebody said, well, you don't want to get the reputation as being dishonest or not closing. You know how many deals I haven't closed on? You can count on one hand the number of deals I haven't closed on in 20 years. It's something significantly adverse if I'm not closing on the deal. It's just the way it goes. So yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it is anyway. Alan Pickering, in one of your YouTube videos, you mentioned you have added more Section 8 tenants. How did you do this? I started talking to, so I called the housing authority and I asked them if they had any houses available, if they had any need for housing. It's a rhetorical question. I know they do. And then it was just a matter of, okay, well, I've got these 2 units available. Have people apply. Here's my application. They're dying for housing in my area for Section 8 and for voucher program, as well as for a couple of other programs. So I just send them my application and say, anybody that you have that you'd like to have apply, here's the application. They can apply. I don't charge an application fee. I just believe that's cost of doing business. So I don't charge an application fee. And then what we do is if I don't obviously background check everybody. Everything needs to be in order. And then if everything is in order, then we'll do that next step, that last step, if you will. Just want to make sure that everything was kind of clear on the other side. So that's how I do it. I contact the housing authorities and I tell them that I have units available. And then they have to go through the same application process that anybody else would. Crimson Knight, is $180 per hour plus $150 dispatch fee fair price for weekend emergency? It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think you can shop that rate. I have a couple places that I use on the regular. And so, yeah, they're around that. I mean, weekend, you just have to pay what you have to pay. Yeah, I mean, the other option too is that you can say, hey, you have no hot water for 24 hours. It's not heat, it's hot water. It's an inconvenience. And so I would just talk to the tenant and say, hey, listen, is there a way that we can do this tomorrow? Because if the gas is shut off to it and the water is shut off to it, I think the damage is limited. And then, that's how I would do it. I would talk to the tenant and just say, hey, is it possible to live with this for a day so we can get the right company out there to do this and the right guy out there to do this, as opposed to just some, let's just get the job done today type of thing. That's what I would do. Theta Hedge Capital, good morning. Hey, good morning. Con, your view on 40-year fixed interest only 10-year. Me personally, it's going to raise prices in houses. It's going to It's going to raise price. It's going to raise prices for sure. It is going to drive demand. It is going to create it so that investors that can get 40-year fixed rate debt, it's going to help them accumulate cash faster because the rents are going to be that much higher. So yeah, so I'm not against it. I mean, principally, I'm not, I guess I'm not against it because I understand what it does in the market. Me personally, would I sign up for 40-year debt? Maybe. Depends on the deal. Depends on the deal. I mean, what's so magical about 30-year debt? What about Japan's 100-year debt? What's so magical about the number 30? Really, honestly, like, what's magical about it? If you're an investor in your 30s, 40-year debt puts it in your 70s, but who's paying off that? Who's holding that debt for 40 years? How many people hold that debt for 40 years and never refinance in the process? Yeah. That's not my focus is on anything I buy being a cash flowing deal. I would look at what the numbers are. I think that it's not going to be a true number from the perspective of it's not going to be like, 30 years, 3.5, and 40 years, 3.75. It's going to be some significantly higher number. And the question is, it's about cash flow. So I know that some people would say, oh, well, do everything based on 30-year debt. I mean, there's some deals that I've done on 15-year debt or 20-year debt. So I think it's all about the income. I think it's about creating the income snowball. I think it's about getting to financial freedom and financial independence. And I think that a 40-year mortgage as an investor helps you get there faster. It's just math. So yeah, I don't necessarily mind it. How do you deal with sleet? I could not get that stuff off that driveway. Yeah. So how you deal with sleet is you actually have a sand and salt mix laid down before the sleet comes. That way, when you have the sand and salt mist, that actually covers the ground. When it actually starts to ice over, the salt will actually help weaken it, and then the sand makes it scrapable. So you can actually have a plow still come and plow it. All my driveways, no ice on them. They're all clear. Just by 20 years in the business, this is the kind of silly, goofy stuff that you're able to do and figure out. So yeah. Yep, that's how I dealt with it. Chris Webb. Hey, Chris, good morning. Checking in from Central Virginia. Thanks for your time today. Yeah, happy to do it. For those of you who are just joining, I'm Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord. I've got two little munchkins in the room next door, so there's probably time where they will come in and interrupt. But that's okay because my other option was don't do the live stream today. Ashley and Eliana were delayed a couple days in coming home from the hospital. They had a couple of days late start as well. And so everything's all good. Just some scores were where they needed to be in order for chemo to start. And so Monday was supposed to happen. They got sent home, and they went in a little bit later in the week, and so that meant they were coming home tonight. So they're coming home tonight. Yeah, so that's the deal. Hip Harp Silver. Is it a good idea on rentals to replace carpet with LVP? Yep, I've done it on all of mine. I have 2 units that I just acquired that have carpet. We cleaned them, and the carpet came out great, but I will not replace that carpet with carpet. I will replace that carpet with LVP, 100%. Dion Talk Financial Freedom. What is the fun? Hey, Dion, what's up, buddy? Dion, were you on earlier when I told people about the video, the Three Amigos video on Dion's channel and what he did on the editing stuff? How did we watch? I was laughing. Samuel, my 4-year-old, walks up to me and he goes, Daddy, why are you laughing so hard? I was like, what are you, writing a book? And he goes, why are you laughing so hard? I was like, I'm watching Dion. He goes, oh, Dion made you laugh? I said, yeah, Dion made me laugh. So it was good. What is the funniest thing a tenant has ever said to you? There's a lot of funny things, but this one strikes me. Tenant's responsibility is heating oil for their house, for their property. It's their responsibility. Hold on one second. Sorry, contractor. So one of the funniest things was ever said to me was his exact words were his responsibility is to fill the oil. He didn't fill the oil, which meant it needed a restart. It also needed a servicing because he ran out of oil. Oil, the way that it does in the bottom of tanks when you run it out, it's actually a gravity fed. There's a filter on the oil system, on the oil tank, and there's also a filter on the heating system. There gets sludge in the bottom because the sludge drops to the bottom over time. So this sludge sits there in the bottom. When you run out, it sucks that sludge through. It clogs up the filter at the tank. It can clog up the line where you then have to use compressed air to blow out the line. And then it can also plug the filter up at the actual heating system itself at the burner. And then depending on how bad it is, there's other things you might need to do. So he ran out of fuel. He then said, all right, I've gotten fuel delivered. Now you need to maintain it because maintenance is my job on the systems. I was like, how do you figure? He goes, I got oil. You have to restart it and maintain it. I said, that's not how this works. I would only need to do that if you hadn't run out of oil. You now need to pay the restart fee. I'm not paying the $99 for the restart fee. Number one. Number two is if there's a problem because you sludged things up and you need to clean and you need to now have a service done because you clogged up the filters, also on you. He goes, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I'm poor. What the hell? It's not my fault. I'm poor. Like, what the? Dude, you ran out of oil. It's your job to monitor it. You ran out. You clogged up the system. What the hell? So that was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It's not my fault I'm poor. And then the justification of why he shouldn't have to pay. No. No. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah. So anyway, that's, I think, the funniest. That's one of the funniest things. John Markey, Matt, have you ever, Eric Weiss, good morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Sorry, 1 second. Here. In garage behind leather couch on shelf all sizes. Okay. I have a kitchen guy finishing 2 kitchens today. Have you ever purchased a house with a T-lock roof? Do you recommend replacing these immediately, even if nothing is currently wrong with it? The T-lock roof. So I think if I'm not mistaken, that's a metal sheet roof where it actually like clicks together in the edges. If I'm not mistaken, is that where the T-lock comes in? I'm pretty sure I have. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but the condition of the roof was pretty good. It was just something I think we had and we monitored to see if there was an issue. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Jay, I didn't, so Jay Markey, I didn't just immediately replace. Back to multi-year money. When do you consider paying off an asset? Would you ever, or just continue to cash out refi? I would not pay off an asset, not for a very long time. I just don't see any value in doing it. There's one thing that everybody seems to forget when it comes to paying off the asset. It's great. It's done. It's paid off. Yeah. You no longer have a partner in that deal. You no longer have a bank that has a vested interest in seeing you taken care of and making sure that things are good. I don't like partners that tell me how to manage things. I don't like partners that, for anything other than spreading liability. Let's spread some liability. And if you pay it off, the bank doesn't care what you do with it. The city doesn't really care what you do with it, other than it has to be, perfectly capped and all this other stuff. So I don't believe in paying off the asset. I mean, I had some assets that I have paid off and I levered them up. When I paid them off, I levered them up with debt again because I want my cash working for me, not dead money. That money sitting there in that house, how much does it actually save me? Based on 30-year debt right now, saves me almost nothing. A $200,000 mortgage is, $800 a month, $900 a month. Saves me $900 a month. In my portfolio, that is not nearly enough to get me out of bed in the morning. when it comes to multifamily, small multifamily assets. I don't want to be paying them off. I want to, because then it's that much more money I also have to pay taxes on. So I lose my partner in the bank. I have to pay more taxes based on the income. I'd have to have a pretty clear cut case of why I would, and I would rather have cash in the bank, even if inflation's eating at it. I'd rather have cash in the bank. That's me. That's my opinion. Man, you guys are crushing it with questions today. I love it. Steve Dave, random question for you. Refi rates are rising. Yep. What if I sold a property to my investor for $65K more than I paid so he could pull a 30-year fixed rate low mortgage instead of cash out refi? All the dollars and all that stuff, you're not going to do it in a way that's not taxable. Then paid him back his down payment and closing costs and assume the mortgage. Also 1031 exchange the profits to paying off. Yeah, so you can do all that stuff. I would look at, you're going to have to get the right attorney to do it, and the right accountant, because those are all taxable transactions unless you, of course, go to 1031. And then there's rules around the 1031. And then there's rules with how it's held. So I would call Chris Brown. Send me an email, Steve. Send me an email at lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com, and I'll send you that guy's name. He's a national 1031 exchange specialist, and an attorney. So he can probably help you with that. Philip Polsky. Hey, good morning, Matt. Just for fun, my daily driver is a 97 Buick Riviera. I love it. 3,800 supercharged. I love those cars. Also, P320, P365, and P238. 3,800s and SIGs are great things. Philip, you and I can hang, my man. You and I can hang. I love it. I love it. Yeah, love all that stuff. I can hear Sam in the background. Why is Daddy laughing? So he's such a cop of him. Am I laughing? My child doesn't want me to have joy. Unreal. Chris Miller, what's up, Matt? Happy you're talking about this topic. Yeah, cool. Chris, feel free to weigh in. Guys, like I said, I don't tell anybody to use my strategy. This is what I'm doing, and I'm just honest about what I'm doing. I think I do a very good job at assessing situations and understanding the pushes and the pulls and leveraging what needs to be leveraged in a deal to get a deal done. I'm a deal maker. That's the only way you can close on 60 deals. I'm a deal maker. I think the key is that nothing about it is shady, but there is strategy here. Like, there is a strategy here. Do you think that every seller that's ever sold a house has never painted over a water spot trying to hide it? Do you think that they haven't put like panels up over things to hide them? Do you think that they haven't like changed out the external on a shower and not changed the mixing valve behind to try and save some money? Like, I don't go into it thinking everybody's a deceitful lying jerk, but I go into it recognizing that there are deceitful lying jerks out there. And the last thing that I would want to do is put myself in a position to get gotten. So yeah, I'm going to ask these questions. I'm going to put a strategy together. If they don't like my deal, don't take my deal. Hold on one second. We have a crisis. The iPad has died. And why has it died? Because somebody didn't shut it off when they were up at 4:45 this morning and deciding that they wanted to have a conversation with Dad. I'm all about deep conversation with my son, just not at 4:45 a.m. So, anywho, give me just 1 second. I'm going to run out there real quickly and check out the iPad situation. So I'll be back in just a second. So particular and objectionable. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Just gonna scroll up. Sorry, guys. Steve Dave, I did pay cash for the property. Yeah, so I would you can structure it for sure. I would talk to that attorney, and I would talk to CPA or an EA and get their opinion on how to best structure it to essentially get your partner out. If that's what I believe that's what the goal is. REI trainer duplex I missed out on yesterday had 2 elderly tenants on fixed income on both sides, renting for $600 a month. The past 10 years, market rent's $950. How would you have handled this if you acquired it? I would have worked with them to get on assistance. Probably what I would have done. Yep. I would have had that conversation with them beforehand, though, as part of the deal. We have some elderly folks that we rent to. I just don't believe in binder strategy, those guys. I'm not saying the DM would, because the binder strategy is his. It's just not how I roll. I'll take the hit on those units for a few years. I had a building that I bought. I had a 79-year-old tenant, 79, super nice guy. His name was John, lived there for 17 or 18 years. He was paying $580 and the market rent was $1,100. I took the $580. He was and worked with him. Eventually got him some assistance. And then just the whole purpose of getting him on that assistance was so he was net positive to him. He was then getting more money a month than he was before, but I just helped him get that assistance. So that's how I would do it. I would try and help them get on assistance. I wouldn't do any other way. Yeah. Pallavi Patel, good morning. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Pallavi. Matt Herbert, haha. Tenants are ridiculous sometimes. Yeah, once a tenant put a check in my mailbox, the flag was up. Mail carrier came 10 minutes later, took the check. Tenant tried to charge me for the check cancel fee. Oh, yeah. Oh, I have lots of other fun ones too. Somebody clogged the toilet. And they were like, that's your issue. I was like, you clogged the toilet. You knew you clogged the toilet. It's your issue. Like, aren't you embarrassed to call your landlord and say, I just took a massive dookie and I clogged your toilet and now I'm not going to fix that? It's on you to figure that out? Nah, not. Say hi. Yeah. Okay. Here, come sit on Daddy's lap. Say hi. 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 Are you watching Moana? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and you got some money too? Yeah. What kind of money is that? My money. It's your money? What are you going to use it for? I can use it for my hand. For your what? Your hands? No, you're going to hold it in your hands. What are you going to use it for? For my money. For your money? What are we going to buy with it? Sweethearts? Yeah. What is it? What are we going to buy with it? I'm going to buy it with a sweetheart. We're going to buy some sweethearts with it. Okay, cool. All right, Daddy's almost done. Can you go out there and finish watching Moana? Yeah. Or you can hang out with me while I answer questions. Up to you. But Dad, you want to go watch Moana? Yeah. I figured that was your better option. All right, I love you. I'll see you in a bit. Okay. All right. You don't have to close it. You can keep it open. I love you. Eric Soleil, you sound like Hartman now. Lever up and keep debt on properties, velocity of money. Yep. Our Hartman sounds like me. I mean, yeah, he's world renowned, but I levered up 2 years ago. I started levering up 2 years ago. So, everyone can claim to have this idea and on the YouTube. What was he doing with his properties 2 years ago? When I saw and I could get rates on commercial at 375, guess what I did? I redid every single one of the commercial mortgages I had. I redid every single one. I tried to lock in at 7 years because yeah, might it be a problem 7 years from now, but you know what? That gives me 7 years of runway. And I was locking in at, 375 on 7-year debt. So I did that. And then last year I did rate and term again on all the commercial stuff. And then on the residential stuff, I refinanced 9. I've got 9 more that are going to be closing this month on refi. So effectively, every single loan, with the exception of what I've purchased in the last 12 months, will have been refied. Every single one. So yeah, so I can appreciate that everybody wants to make things their idea. But whatever. I've been doing it for 2 years. Hartman's a smart guy. There's George Gammon. He's a smart guy. Kiyosaki, smart guy. These are all smart guys, but they're not the only smart guys. And I think that again, I've gone from 50 to over 100 units in 3 years, and they're seasoning. They're consistently seasoning. But every year I'm getting more and more rents for them, and my bank is looking at it going, holy cow. So while I respect these guys, I don't revere these guys because these ideas, I'd love to know what Hartman's doing with his actual properties and when he started doing that. I bet I started earlier. So I just don't talk a lot about that stuff because it's much more about, I don't want people trying to seek out credit for who said what and did what first. I want people talking about what can be done to get them in their game better so they can do more. My game's just fine. I share this with you guys. So hopefully, if you guys see something that you like or something that might help you out, cool, go for it. But yeah, Hartman's a smart guy. Yeah, I like Hartman. Yep, I like George Gammon too. Flash of light. Have you ever needed to do a repipe on an art? Oh yeah, sure. Yep. When do you try and schedule it such upon seeing lots of green spots on pipes or after a leak? Oh, like a copper repipe, like running it to PEX? It depends. The copper is usually fine. The only thing that we'll do is if we start to, those are usually the green is around the joints. And so around the joints, there's a Milwaukee press tool that we just ordered. But I would have my plumber do it where we would shut the water off, drain it out, clean up the lines. And then we would do a press tool to put a new sleeve on there. Milwaukee makes a compression press tool. Don't use shark bites. I wouldn't use them. They have in the past popped off and caused massive water damage. That's my experience. I'm not saying that about the brand. That's been my experience. So I like the press tool. And Milwaukee makes one. They make an M12, they make an M18, and it's perfect for 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch copper. So if you want to try and prevent that, you can go with all PEX, and that's fine. And then rip out all the copper. Pretty expensive job. So I would probably more just spend time on the joints themselves or get a number from the guy on both. Yep. That's what I would do. Cassidy Ironman. My wife is pregnant with our first child. Congratulations. That's awesome. We are currently house hacking. Awesome. Any advice for raising a kid in a smaller space? No. Sorry. I don't think so. We had a pretty small space with our first. But we eventually the rule was with Ashley, or the deal was when we were having our first kid, our first child, I would buy a single family home and I would just redo it. And so I did. I redid it. And then we had a home that was on 5 acres, middle of nowhere. Not middle of nowhere, but just outside the city, but private. So no one would have to listen to the screaming toddler or screaming baby. But yeah, the only thing that I would probably do if, just in the interest of keeping neighbors happy, I would probably put some sort of a sound diffuser on that wall on the other side, since you own the property and you're hacking in their room where they would be screaming and crying. I would put something on that wall, whether it's, eggshells, soundproof, or even just installing quiet rock on top of what's there already to just deaden the noise. That's probably the only thing that I would do. Make sure that your neighbor doesn't feel like they just had a newborn as well. Congratulations on being pregnant. It's awesome. Dustin Walker. We are in the same boat. House hacking with kid on the way. 4/1/22. Very cool. So 4/1. So that is April 1st. That is when my daughter was actually due. Eliana. She was due on April Fool's Day. And she came April 6th, I think was the official. Labor started April 5th. She actually came April 6th. And the reason I had to think about that was because she hasn't turned 1 yet. So that's awesome. Crimson Knight, question about the IBC boilers. So SFC Superflow 125 is the one you use. I'm guessing $3,000 for the boiler. I don't think that's the one I actually use. I think I use the combi boiler. Already have the copper piping in place. I know some is going to have to be replaced. Yep, but would it be better to replace it all? Your plumber will make that call of what they want to and need to replace. I know that when I just swap the boiler and do the piping around the boiler, it's usually between 8 and 10 grand. I know that when I have to add baseboard upstairs, when I have to add baseboard onto it, depending on how much baseboard, it then is going to run me between 15 and 17 if I have to replace all the baseboard too. So those are the two numbers that I've seen, that I've done in the last year. Chris Webb, what was the shower head thing you talked about? Also, I feel you on the iPad. Yeah, right, Chris? Like the world just ended, like Apocalypse Now in there. Meanwhile, they've got the 75-inch television with one of their favorite movies on. Really? So yeah. Let's see. What was the shower head thing? We had a couple. One, I had a tenant complaining that they were going through hot water way too fast. Come to find out, they actually upgraded the shower head, and it was like 3x what the shower head that I had in there was. So no kidding, they're draining the hot water system in like 10 minutes. They just 3x the capacity. So it went from, what you could take a 25 or 30-minute shower, and now you're taking a 10-minute shower because you put a head on the street. Well, I like that shower head. I don't know what to tell you. If you want to use that shower head, take shorter showers. I'm not upgrading the entire heating system and hot water tank to a larger high capacity tank because you want a different shower head. Honest to God, with some of these requests. Brutal. Dion, Financial Talk Freedom, time for another ballad. Dion. Chris Webb, where is everyone located? Anyone in Virginia? That's a good question. I know that I don't know where everybody is. I know where Dion is. Let's sneak some in while he's gone. Dan, you don't have to sneak them. You can just put them in. It's fine. I don't mind. We can play like Girl from Ipanema or something like that on the with music in the background. Cassidy Ironman, I'm in California. Dustin Wachter, that seems like a pricey solution. yeah. Yep. No code on. I don't know how anyone watches that guy in his mom's basement. He is calling for a 50% drop in Phoenix real estate values. He is a moron. Listen, all these other guys that want to have channels that talk sweetly about people that are being idiots, I can't do that. And if that means my numbers stay low forever, fine. I'm just the way it is. I'm the lumberjack landlord. You know what? That's just the way it is. That kid's an idiot. He's an idiot. I will debate him any day of the week, and I will drown him in facts. He's an underwriter. Do any of us here, and sorry if anyone here is an underwriter, but do any of us here know underwriters that play well at parties? They don't. Their whole job is being given to them by their financial institution. Here is the box that we want to play with and the risk that we can assume. This is it. The only thing an underwriter does is they're really good at following the rules. That's it. That's all that guy's ever done. Listen, it's just, it blows. It just absolutely completely blows my mind. I don't take hair growth and hair quality and hair care advice from Yul Brynner. I don't talk about, jumping skills from Peter Dinklage. I mean, come on, guys. Like, really? Like, it's just absurd. This guy's an absolute clown. And you know what? I mean, it's too bad that YouTube, talk about advice and conversations that he has that he's completely out of his depth on. It just is beyond annoying. And I get plenty of emails with people saying, I didn't buy because of that. And guess what? Those people are out of hundreds of thousands of dollars in appreciation in some cases. So yeah, I just have no patience for him whatsoever. And I think people should absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and people pay him $5-10 on super chats. You will not see super chats on this channel unless we do something for charity. I hate that stuff. Man, I hate that stuff. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. REI trainer at Chris Webb, Southwest Virginia. Yep, but I think we talked about this. Cool. Yep. Steve Dave, thanks for the advice. Yeah, you're welcome. J. Markey, Matt, what specific things do you look for when reviewing insurance quotes for landlord policies? I'm reviewing my first quotes today. Usually the only thing that I ask is deductible, replacement cost, and replacement cost versus whatever the other one is. And rental, like rental assistance if the tenant, if somebody leaves, regardless of whose fault it was, and maybe they don't have insurance, but do they cover the rent, the lost income? And a lot of them will cover it for a year. Those are the three main areas, and then the rest is just what their process is and if they have good customer service and easy to work with. REI trainer, thanks for the feedback. I would have done the same. Yeah, we're not here. Listen, we're not here to kick senior citizens out of their houses. That is just not why I sit. I mean, even if the margin there looks really nice, nah, not for me. But yeah, I will try and help them get on some sort of assistance. And usually you can get it if they can only afford $600. Sure, then usually you can get it. Yep. Marcus Shiro, I believe it was through Chris Crone. Any thoughts on type of fund that purchased multi units for single? Marco Shiro, I believe it was through Chris Crone. Okay. Any thoughts on a type of fund that purchased multiple units for a single family home? No, not interested. Nope. Guys, my return on capital on deals that I do is over 20%. I'm not interested in 4x. I have people with portfolios that are 4 times larger than mine that I have more margin than they do. Not percentage, actual dollars. Actual dollars. So yeah, I'm not interested in doing a syndication deal, or I don't care what fund they're buying or what they're, no, who gets rich in those deals? The guys who run the deal. I've been offered syndication, wasn't interested. I'm not interested because I want to look out for me, for mine. And if I make a mistake, then I don't want it costing other people money. I want it costing me money. I want to own the problem. I'll own the solution. I'll own the problem. I'll own the profit, and I'll own the expense. So yeah, I don't believe in that type of investment. And I'm sure people can make money from it, but I personally believe in the next 5 years, I think a lot of people that invested in syndications are going to get hurt. I think a lot of them are going to have to write checks or get an equity drawdown or something like that. And I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I'm a control freak. I want to control my outcomes. And I know that a lot of things can happen where I can't control my outcomes, but then at least it only rests on my shoulders. That's what I would prefer. So yeah, so Chris Crone, Grant Cardone, who I think is awesome. I think he's hilarious. I love to watch him. Changed his tune a little bit on buy only 16 unit housing complexes, 16 or larger. I won't share my numbers, but I do just fine. And the largest thing I own is 12, and I just bought it this year. Largest thing before that was a 6. So I own actually that one doesn't really count. They're all the separate buildings. So yeah. Nope. Crimson Knight. I went for assistance right away. Can't $850 a month with oil heat included when market is 16, no heat. Yep. Don't know what the old landlord was thinking, signing the lease in 2020 when he could get a lot more. He was a lazy landlord, way it goes. Too bad the government is just like the Dallas Cowboys when it counts. They'll lay you down, dropping the ball, getting my rent assistance. Yeah, it's sure that happens. Chris Miller, Crimson. I noticed most of the landlords that are doing that bought their properties a long time ago and aren't keeping up with rents. They don't usually need it in their situation. Chris, that's exactly right. That's why I target. I target people that have been landlords for 15, 20, 25, 30 years. That's why I target. Ready to get out of the game? Cool. You want to sell or finance it? Awesome. You want to sell or finance it, only a part of it? Fine. If you want to just be rid of it and be done with it because you've already got other tax strategies in place, cool. Knock yourself out. All good. Those are all cool and acceptable things. So I like dealing with guys in that position because I let them know, hey, listen, I'm next gen, right? I'm the next generation. I'm going to own this thing for probably forever, or at least for another 15, 20, 30 years. That's my goal. I buy and hold real estate. And I show them my portfolio. When we talk about it, if they ask, I show it to them and I say, I've owned this, and I walk them through it. I say, I'm acquiring. The very few things that I've sold were strategic sells. They were strategic sells. Affordability index in my market is a 4. I sold my single families. I have one single family left. That's it. So yeah. Eric Soleil, that has been his strategy for years. Always keep debt on properties. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I've always kept, I've been doing this for 20 years. I consistently refi cash out, but I levered up harder. I lever up. I lever up. I not more than 70% loan to value, but I have consistently stayed on it, even though I don't need the money. I consistently stay on it, and then I push the cash because that's just that much more that I have that much more dry powder. So yeah, I started following Hartman probably like a year and a half ago. Yeah, watched a lot of his stuff. I agree with a lot of it. Yep, not all of it, but a lot of it. Crimson Knight at Chris Miller. The owners were living in the property up at that point for 40 years, then moved out of town, decided to rent it out, went under market value for some reason. Yeah, the some reason is they could find the tenant that they wanted in there, and they also didn't really understand or know what the rents were. That's almost always what it is. They're like, hey, if we just put it up for this, it covers our costs, covers our expenses. We don't care about making profit, but we want the perfect tenant in there. That's what they go for. Been in that position, yeah. Jay Markey, what are your favorite neutral interior paint colors? Benjamin, more products. Thanks again. My template, if you guys have seen all the stuff on Instagram at Lumberjack Landlord, at Lumberjack Landlord on Instagram. You guys got to get an account, got to follow me. I put all of my project stuff on there. I only use one color. It's called Stone Harbor Gray. It's the only color I use, Stone Harbor Gray. That's it. It's a beautiful, rich gray that perfectly contrasts their bright white. So semi-gloss sprayed on all the trim, Stone Harbor on all the walls. And usually our accent color that allows us to give an accent color of like a rich red or a black for like a door or things like that. Yeah, like a front door. So you get that third color in there. If it's an older home with like finials and spindles and things like that on the outside, we'll incorporate that third color to really make it pop. So yeah, we do that. So yeah, Stone Harbor Gray. Chris Miller at Crimson Knight. Yep, that sounds about right. Don't overly doubt the work and research you've done. Yeah. I mean, we're all in the same boat here, right? Julie Anderson, tip for the house hacking with a child: don't buy too much stuff. Yes, that's true. Yep, you can need to get a house just to house your extra stuff. Yeah, for sure. Chris Miller, we were house hacking with a newborn. Yep, the house hack turned out to be a single family house with a duplex on one deed. Love it. Yep, kind of hit the jackpot of house hacking with this one. Yeah, feel very blessed. Yeah, that's where you want to be, right? Separate buildings and you get it. I just bought a property that had 2 duplexes on the same lot. Love it. Love it. Maybe I could condo it in the future. I was able to, just there were so many beautiful things about that deal. But yeah, separate buildings on the same lot. I have one that's a 3-unit, a 4-unit. It had a bungalow on it and a single family. I had enough frontage to subdivide off the single family, and then I had enough equity for the bank to have to write off or basically gift me the house. So I got the house free of charge just by doing a subdivision and about $7,000 worth of work. Moana is still playing and they're still giggling. We're all good. Dojo call. Hey Dojo, I'm at 5 units in 5 years. How long does it take to start picking up steam and do 5 a year? It really depends on. So I never set a goal of I'm going to acquire this much or make this much money. I never set that goal. The goal that I always have is I do the work every single day. And that's the way it's been for 20 years. I look at my market every day, even on the days that my kids were born. There was some downtime where I could take a look at the market and see what deals popped. I've put a deal under contract within a couple of days of my kids being born. So I just do that work every single day. And so I never have I didn't expect, if you had asked me the beginning of 21, how many deals I was going to do for the year, I would say, no idea. I will do as many great deals as I can possibly do. I ended up doing 10. 10's more than I've ever done in a year. I sold 2, more than I've ever sold in a year. I refied 9, more than I ever refied in a year. This year, I'm probably going to refi more. I might buy more because I've already closed on 2. I have 2 more under contract. So getting to 10, unless something drastically changes about the market, where people stop accepting cash, then I'll be in good shape to probably beat all. So I'll refi more than 9. I will buy likely more than 10. I will not sell more than 2. I won't break that number. So yeah, so I think it's just, you just stay consistent, doing the work every single day and staying focused on what your goal is and doing great deals. And then eventually the income creates enough where you can then buy your next deal faster and faster and cash out refi and those sorts of things. In a down economy, you can't do that. So down economy usually slows things down a little bit in some regards, but in that first purchase that's why you just have to make sure you're only doing great deals. That's what my advice would be. Steve Dave, Hickory, North Carolina. Hey, Hickory. Julie Anderson, I'm seeing in the next couple of years, I will be charging separately for parking spaces at my apartment complex. Interesting. Yeah, I've seen that in some that are in higher density area. Chris Miller, these YouTube crash channels are designed to get clicks and views. It's Meet Kevin's channel now. Absolute nonsense, but damn, it's popular. Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the key is that I'll never make my living off of YouTube, or courses. I won't make my living off of YouTube or courses or any of this stuff. I want to give back. I couldn't find mentors. I couldn't find people that were giving any good information when I was trying to do this, when I was getting in the business. So I want to make myself available. I turn down one-on-ones all the time. People are willing to pay. I still turn them down. But I also don't do them just because I have so little time, and I spend that with my kids, running my business and doing the things from a job perspective that I have to get done. But I'll make myself available for these times every week. So we're going to do just a little bit more time. Let me just give a quick kid check, make sure that that thumping is nothing of importance. I'll be back in 1 second. I should have walk-in music. It'd be better. Dawn, that sixplex in Pueblo went for $676. It was $25,000 over asking. I ran the numbers, and it will be a 7% return. Yeah, over 100,000 a unit, like 110. What were those notoriously, Dawn? What were those notoriously? Were those trading at 75 a unit, 50 a unit? Interested to know that. So I have some context because I don't know the Pueblo market like you do. Cassidy Ironman, for getting assistance for seniors, do you know of any programs besides Section 8 to look into? I would start there, but then I would also look at fuel assistance if you're in a cold market. and electricity assistance. I would look at those two assistances. That's what I would do. Randy Whitaker, existing tenant, new landlord. Should I have the tenant fill out an application? I don't right away. I just want to kind of see how they are. So I'm not like rushing into like, here's my process and here's how we do it. And I don't do that. I want to get them to know them. You know, we have, largely speaking, low maintenance tenants. That's what we go for. We go for low maintenance tenants. I get close to the market, close to the top of the market in a lot of places, but I look for low maintenance. And so I want to see how they are. What if they're great on paper, but they suck to work with in real life? I'm not interested because I can find somebody who doesn't suck to work with in real life. So my take is I just let it season a little bit, let it season, see how it goes, see if you like them, see if they like you. And then just kind of, you know, that's how I kind of play that, in all honesty. Hold on. We set up a new accounting system this month. People are freaking out about late fees. Yeah. Crazy. They're freaking out about late fees. Yeah, they're going nuts. Anyway, so we're going to work with them and basically say, hey, okay, not this month, but yeah, next month. How good is Benjamin Moore? Can you get old dark wood trim ultra white in one coat after priming? It depends on what kind of trim it is, Crimson Night. Depends. I would talk to Benjamin Moore has the right expert there where you can ask him or pop off a piece of the trim and show it to him and say, hey, how would you cover this? A lot of times you'll need to go with like an oil-based primer. Sometimes it's a water-based primer. Use Kills to prime everything, and then you can coat on it. So it just depends 100% on the surface. I mean, on what it is that you're painting, and then what they'll give you, you know, for product. So I can tell you that you're not going to get the right answer at Home Depot's counter, or certainly not Lowe's counter when it comes to paint. Nope. I'll go to a paint store, Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore, like specialists that make paint and understand the chemical structure of the paint. Okay. Dro, I missed the part about your last 5 deals. Rewind, watch it. I won't make everybody listen to it again. It was just my strategy and how I've won those deals. And I don't tell people use my strategy. This is what I did, and I let you know what the results were. Still waiting on appraiser, so Steven can finish my refinance. Yeah, interested to know what their deal is with that, Dawn. They said 2 weeks, I think, for an appraisal. I don't see how. Not in my market, they're not getting an appraisal done in 2 weeks, unless they're offering 2.5x or 2x what every other appraiser is doing. So I don't see how they're doing that. So I want to believe him. I just don't. I don't see how anybody's getting an appraisal done in 2 weeks. I know appraisers that are friends of mine, and they're like, every single time they see something like that, like do in 2 weeks, they laugh. They're just like, yeah, right, okay, sure, yeah, 2 weeks, yeah, no problem. Sounds right. Meet Kevin. Followed his advice originally, which was buying everything at Lowe's. Yeah, he wouldn't know any better. Like, all due respect to Kevin, like, you know. Yeah. Like, if you were doing all your shopping for material at Lowe's or Home Depot, you're not a real contractor. Like, there's a reason that these lumber yards stay open. It's because they have people that speak the language. They know what products to use in which certain scenarios. Don't get me wrong. I buy stuff at Home Depot all the time, but it's a fraction of what I spend other places. Like, I don't buy sheetrock at Home Depot. I buy a few sheets because I won't call the sheetrock company for it. But if I'm getting a house loaded with 200 sheets, you think Home Depot is getting that order? No freaking way. Studs, same thing. I'll buy a pallet from the lumber yard. Anything that's more than a few of this or a few of that, I'm not buying there. Just that's not what those stores were built for. That's not what they were built. They just aren't. And most contractors aren't there either. The only time you'll see contractors there largely for that type of stuff is if the lumber yard sold out of it. That's usually what you'll find. So yeah, that's just my thought. Antoine Davis. And that's why I have a ton of respect for you, Matt. Blessings unto you, sir. Oh, appreciate that. I'm not sure what that's in regards to, but Antoine, I'll always take blessings, my friend. Antoine, this business is so, about the mentors. Sure. It's so hard to find mentors. Yeah, guys, honestly, like, I think about myself back in the day, and why would, even agents laughed at me. I want to buy a house. Yeah, that's cute. You're 22. Yeah, that's a nice idea. Kind of funny. I hear one coming. I can tell it's Samuel. He's getting antsy. We'll go 10 more minutes. Color scheme I mentioned, it can be for inside and outside. People love both of them. Hi, Bob. You want to come in and answer some questions with Daddy?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to sit in that seat, or do you want to sit on my lap?
I sit on that seat because I'm a big.
Oh, he wants to sit on the seat because he's a big boy. All right. You want to sit on that so people can see you on the screen?
Yeah.
All right. So this is Samuel. We buy houses.
Yeah, we buy houses.
Yep. So then what do we do with them?
I don't know.
You know. People rent them from us, right?
Then bought them.
Yeah, we buy them and then we rent them out. Samuel likes to go driving the car and point at houses and go, we should buy that one, right?
Yeah, right? We buy that one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, we can put in an offer, but let's just wait. He knows what the sign in the front yard means. Angel R, the goat. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. That's awesome. Hey, people are trying to watch this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't want to shake our hands, make people dizzy. No one, we don't need to start requiring Dramamine for our live streams. Karen Molnar. Hey, Karen, how's that new house going? Hi, Matt. I hope your family are hanging in there. Love hearing the kiddos in the background. Yeah, it's awesome. I was like, kids at work, right? It's all good. It's all good. Are you going back to watch Moana? You can go back and watch Moana? No, you can sit in that chair, but no jumping up and down in it. You know the rule. Okay. Dancing along with rentals. When I tap the like button, I get to sit closer to the front in the chat. Do I? Yes. Sure. Absolutely. Bye, Bob. So funny. They're the blast. Such good kids. Angel R, do you think the 40-year mortgages will make it harder for investors? No, I think they'll make it easier. And the reason why is because now look at the cash flows when you base it on a 40-year amortization as opposed to a 30-year. It makes it that much better. The biggest struggle for people to get into the house is not the payment. It's the down payment. So the things to be worried about are the government coming in and saying, we're going to do this massive down payment program. That I would get scared about, because that is going to make it harder on investors, because that's going to push up the price. And for us, it's just going to require us to bring that 20-25% to the table, which is fine. But yeah, the scariest thing for an investor is to have the toughest part of buying a home taken out of the equation, which is the down payment. It's not the monthly nut. The monthly nut is all about cash flow. But the thing that's stopping people from getting into a home is not the monthly payment. They're probably paying that already in rent, if not more. The thing that's going to get them is the expenses. If they don't know how to manage their money, and getting the down payment. That's the toughest part, right? Like, even as investors, that was the toughest part for me up until maybe 6 years ago. The toughest part for me by far was, getting enough money to get the next deal done. So that was my issue. So, prices may go up, and saving for the down payment will be harder. In my head, in the right space. Yeah. So like I just said, I think that the down payment's the toughest thing for everybody. I think investors are better at it than most people, because they always have that goal in mind of all I have to do is get another 20,000 or another 25,000 and boom, I'm in another one. The 40-year mortgage, I think that obviously the rising tide lifts all boats, and that's going to make deals cash flow. In fact, Nathan Murith, who was on, I think the live stream, said that was on his property was going to save him like 12 on a 40-year mortgage was going to save him like $1,200 a month. That's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So all of those things, that's why all these crash idiots, and that's what they are, crash idiots. All these crash idiots just don't understand. The government has so much left in the arsenal. Down payment assistance, that's absolutely going to happen. 40-year mortgages, that's absolutely going to happen. It's happening. They're already making it available to people that were in forbearance. Like, these are things, guys. And that's why for me, I'm ready. I have cash. Either way, whichever way this sways, I've got cash. If I need it to sustain myself, I've got it. If I need it to buy the next 10 deals, I've got it. I've got it. So the thing that I would tell you is what I did is I levered my assets, 70% loan to value, made sure that they all still cash flow double digits. They all still cash flow double digits. But now I have a bunch of dry powder, and now I can start buying even more property. But yeah, for us, it's all about great deals, right? The last 7 deals I've done are above 20% return on capital. I don't know of anybody else out there that's doing deals on that level at that velocity, and for me, that's what I'm most excited about, is having that number of deals, that much velocity, and doing that and doing that many thick, fatty deals. I love those fatty deals. Crimson Knight, old wood paneling and old wood trim. I used Kills oil based and Valspar. Got the paneling in one coat. Trim, nope. For the paneling, at least latex paint will mess up the wood. Yeah, I mean, the other thing you can do too is I actually don't ever touch up, like I don't paint trim. We spray trim. That HVLP gun, high volume, low pressure, just puts a beautiful, thick, rich coat on anything. So yeah, it's probably just how it's application there, not product, I think. Karen Molnar, question. I have a shed on the property that I just bought. Yep. And it's not very good shape. Yep. Will not be recommending tenants use for storage. Yep. Would you leave it on the property or spend the cash to remove? I would honestly find somebody, if you want to, I would do if you can do a replacement, I would do a replacement. Once you have something there and you take it away, like if it was something that was built there in place, I would just talk to the town and say, hey, I've got a shed that they're existing. Is there a problem if I swap it? And then they'll give you the rules around swapping it. I never remove dwellings because it can come into play when in the future, when you try and get something done, they can say, oh, well, then this counts towards this expansion of feet. And it's just a fight that you don't have to have. So I always talk to the town, get something in black and white saying, okay, great. I'll send you an email confirming that. Then they send something back. And then if you have something from the town and then they decide to change their mind, but the rule hasn't changed, usually you can get them to walk it back. Usually. So hopefully that helps, Karen. Matt, what type of underlay do you use under the LVP? It depends on the flooring. It depends on subfloor, what's underneath it. If it's concrete, we'll use something that has a little bit more of a bounce to it. If it's wood, we'll use something. So it really depends. It depends on if it's a damp space, dry space. We'll use something antimicrobial. We'll always use noise canceling if it's a unit over unit. We'll always do that. Crimson Knight, your kids have a better attention span than I did when I was a kid. I would have been out in half the time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm blessed. My kids are good kids. They're well disciplined. We run a fairly tight ship here. And so they can be trusted like this. If I hear a scream, I'll go out there, but largely speaking, they use common sense, even at 4 and almost 3. So they're good, but you see, they carry themselves just fine, but the door to my office is open and the living room is right outside. So we're not taking a real risk. It's an educated risk. I'd knock on wood. There we go. Just kidding. Eric Weiss, crazy impressive that you can live stream with 2 kids running around you. Yeah, my 2 are 3 and 5. Yep. And want all of my attention. I struggle just to watch you. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome, Eric. Yeah, they're good. They've gotten used to dad saying, hey, I need to go do a live stream and being gone for a little bit. And so we test them in those things constantly. I'm not telling anybody how to parent. I'm just saying how we do it. And so we constantly are testing them in those things. And the advantage that we have of Ashley needing to be all into Eliana because she's sick, sometimes that happens. And that means the other 2 kids need to kind of figure some things out. So overall, they do a pretty good, pretty okay. Angel R, thank you. You're welcome, my dude. All good. Randy Whitaker, as you buy more properties, do you increase your reserves? No, not much, mildly. That $50,000, like the number of times that I've had to go into that $50,000 is almost none. Like very, very, very rare because the cash flow becomes so big. The cash flow becomes so big that you can do everything. I mean, and the profit on the cash flow becomes so big after doing this for time that there's, you're proactively looking to do roofs. You're like, you know what? That roof is 25 years old. Let's just do it. That boiler is, 25 years old. Let's just do it. You're literally looking for these CapEx type of projects to do. And so if something happened, like, yeah, I won't lie. If, something that was, a hurricane or a tornado or an earthquake, we have insurance, but we have higher deductibles. And so, yeah, that would suck. It'd get through that 50 grand pretty quick. But, a lot of people would be in a lot worse shape than us. So we'd be able to work some things out with our banks if anything got nuts. Angel R, is it okay to install a shower surround without purple drywall behind it, screwed right to the studs? I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. The only thing that we do is we'll also put Roxel behind it because it's antimicrobial. We'll also spray the studs with like Kills. That's usually what we'll do. So we'll spray the stuff with Kills or roll it with Kills. Then we'll throw in some Roxel. But yeah, usually, I mean, a lot of times we haven't done anything more than that. Not sheetrocking, because a lot of times they'll have like tile or something like that on the other wall, and then the sheetrock doesn't match or it's not a fit, that sort of thing. So yeah, we've done it right to studs before, and then AZEC trimmed it out. In fact, Angel, I'm going to post something specifically for you, my dude, on Instagram. So I think you're following me on Instagram. I'm going to post something on Instagram for you to see specifically. I want to show that to you. A project that we literally just did because our hands were tied. Yep. Crimson Knight. Makes sense. Rolled walls, brush trim. Yep. C-class property. Want to make it look better than the Landlord Special, but doesn't have to look like A-class finish. Yeah, I mean, the cost difference for me to get trim sprayed is not that much. So for me, it cost me more to deviate from my process at this point. My insurance company, Hip Harp Silver, my insurance company told me it was a liability and I have to remove it. Halfway removed block. Okay. Got it. Dancing alone with rentals. I'm allergic to cash. So it seems. Yeah. Trust me. We've all had those times in doing this that we've been allergic, that it looks like we're allergic to cash because it comes in and we spend it that fast because something broke, and things do happen in blocks. Like we had a rough week 2 weeks ago with freeze ups, blown lines like in one day. And thankfully we did a bunch of work and blessed today that so far no messages, no issues. So it's been pretty good. Karen Mulder, thank you. Have a wonderful day. You too, Karen. Journey, hey, Journey, what's going on, my man? Morning, Matt. What kind of countertops do you normally use, and do you buy your poles online? I do buy my poles online. And countertops, I always use what's called leathered or unpolished Brazilian granite, because it's different than what everybody else sees in every other house. You can't walk into Home Depot and buy it. You can't walk into Lowe's and buy it. And you can't walk into 80% of granite stores and buy it. It's usually something that's special order, but it's not super expensive. It's very elegant, and there does come large variation to the slabs. So I'm very picky on what I will pick for slabs, but I pick them out before they do them, or before they template them. Dion talk financial freedom. When we include time in our return equation, the numbers still freak me out. Hard to wrap my mind around. Yeah, time. Yeah, I mean, for sure. So for us, that is actually one of the reasons that a lot of the properties that we do a bunch of work before we move anybody in, because I don't want the calls after somebody's moved in. I want to take care of a lot of that stuff. That's why inherited tenants for me, right up here, kind of gives me agita. So when I inherit that tenant, I'm not thrilled to renew them really regardless of the rate that they're at, because ideally I want to get into that unit, redo it, my template, the way I do it, the way I know rents out fast, the way I know people like it with the extras that I like to do. But most importantly, it drastically reduces the number of phone calls I get. Drastically reduces. I get more phone calls from the 10 units I've acquired in the last 60 days. I get more phone calls from those 10 units than I do my other 96. It's because I haven't been able to normalize those units yet. I didn't get in there and touch them like I like to touch them. It needs the lumberjack's touch. It's true. It's just one of those things. So yeah, time is a very big thing, but that's why we like to redo them. That's why our number of calls was so low for so long. Like we never got phone calls ever. People would laugh at us. They're like, how many times did you get a call? Like we would literally, even with 50 units, I would get a call maybe twice a week with something. And it was always something trivial. It's because when we got up to that point, for the most part, we had gotten redone every property as we bought them. That's why I love that value. Really. It's fantastic. So that's largely how we've done things. Yeah. But yeah, time is the toughest thing to account for. My time is now very expensive, but I use it to acquire more projects or more properties. So it has a pretty good return now. Dancing alone with rentals, a thin shower surround needs support. Yeah, thin one. Yeah, a molded one is often used over the studs. The drywall adds mass and is a good way to stop the draft. Just a tape coat is enough. Yep, dancing alone with rentals. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yep. Yep. I mean, again, for us, if you spray foam the inside, just a real quick spray foam of like that inside edge of the stud, and then a piece of Roxol, you get the same thing. And as far as the rigidity goes, obviously, yeah, when you're sliding that thing into place, there's not a lot of touch points. It's mainly it's the flange that goes around the tub, and then in the bottom where it's basically sitting, where then you have the drain come up. That's the message. That's the piece right there, because almost nothing else of the surround is even going to be touching the drywall. It's mostly the piece around the frame and molding, and then the bottom piece. That's what's really touching the drywall. Pretty much nothing else. That's not going to help a ton with rigidity. Angel, you're the man. Thank you, Angel. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll post that specifically for you. In fact, I'll post it this afternoon for you. Oh, speaking of posting this afternoon, I'm kind of waiting for somebody to get to me. We got to go pick up our tax draft. 100% done. Cool. Wait till you guys see the kitchen project I'm going to show you. Oh, for those of you following me on Instagram, if you check that out, that entire apartment was $11,000. Somebody guessed that it was $6,000 for that kitchen. The kitchen with countertops and install all in was $3,400, $3,500. It's the power of, getting relationships and having them realize that they become part of your process. They will feel very good about that, and they will treat you right pricing wise. Antoine Davis, what about backsplashing kitchens? What do you use? Tile. I use tile, or I'll use, get this. Good question, Antoine. You nailed it, bro. So, tin backsplashes. No joke. You can install them in a couple of hours. You can find them online, but they make them 18 inches tall, and they have a little channel. Put the channel at the top, channel at the bottom, and you can literally slide the piece in. Somebody's an idiot, ruins a piece, no big deal. We stay consistent with a few of them, but a lot of times we'll just leave painted in the back. I never, ever, well, that's not true. Hardly ever will I use a granite backsplash, like a slab, just because it's an added expense that really only needs to be in the high end stuff. Yeah. So More often than not, that's what I'm doing. I'm using tin. I'm leaving it painted space, but I do it with a semi-gloss so it can be wiped down easily. Sometimes tile, and in that case, it would just be a ceramic, something that matches the counter. Yep. Eric Soleil, my wife was frustrated with me because our first unit, I completely gutted even the floor joists. Ooh. Electric, HVAC, and plumbing with the thought process it's new top to bottom roof and all equals no calls. Yeah, I mean, that might be a little bit overboard. I won't lie. I like epoxy, and so I see your other comment, epoxy tops. Yeah, maybe. We do butcher block where we'll do like 5 or 6, coats of poly on it, and that does really well too. So we don't always use the granite, but mostly we do. Because of cost. Like if you were buying slabs of that stuff, where I'm buying slabs for that stuff, you'd be like, epoxy, that's kind of a pain in the ass, extra time, et cetera, et cetera. But there are some pros to epoxy. Obviously, you can like sand it and polish it out and that sort of stuff. That's pretty cool. I do watch a lot of those videos. Maybe someday. Just it's so good in our process right now. It's not worth the time to try to investigate something different. Because again, people walk in, they can tell it's one of our units. They're just like, oh man, this is awesome. And that's the thing is when you do 106 units in a total population of 50,000 people in 3 towns, you start to get that reputation where people know what your stuff looks like. And they're like, oh man, this is a Hawkins unit. You're like, cool. Sure. Sounds good. Let's see. Really love your video on getting your spouse into real estate. Thanks so much for all the relevant topics. Oh, cool. And guys, give me ideas. I'm here for you. I want to do stuff that interests you. So if there's a topic that you want me to talk about, tell me. I just share what's on my heart and what I've experienced. So if there's something that you want to know about that I haven't shared, or I'm cool to do that. Yeah. Do I hold deposits in a separate account, Hip Harp Silver? Yes, I do. Yep. You have to. In my state, you have to when you get past, I think it's 10 houses. So yeah, I have a separate account that's only deposits. Yep. Crimson Knight, tin backsplash for C-class rental for kitchen paint cabinets, new sink, new butcher block countertop, and tin backsplash. Yep, sure. I don't have any C-class though. I don't have any C. All my stuff is B or A-. I don't have any C stuff. Actually, that's not true. Probably a couple of the buildings I just added are probably C's. They were my first C's. But yeah, that tin backsplash, it's not that expensive. I mean, if you look at the cost of like putting tile in or anything else, it's really not that expensive. You can do an entire backsplash for a couple $100. And the nice thing is that if somebody damages 1 or 2 tiles, it's on a track. You slide them out, you slide the new ones in, and you're done. So it's a fast fix too. That's what I like. Kip Stevens, have you ever thought about putting together a template or checklist on the lumberjack process of preparing a rental? I did one. I'm preparing it for you guys. Great idea. Yeah, I'm preparing it for you guys. Yep. I bought the house. Now what? I've got a checklist that I'm going to do that I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get that out to you. It might just be on the website and make it a downloadable form for you guys. So you just put in your email address and we'll email it to you. So yeah, I already did one of those. At Herbert, hey Matt, thanks for all you do for us. Great session this week. I have to head out to meet one of my contractors at our latest rehab. Awesome. Matt Herbert, did you talk to Tina? Was that good? That's the only thing I want to see back from you before you leave. That's not the only thing I want to see from you. That's what I'd like to see from you before you leave. I want to know if it went well. So Kip Stevens, that's what we are doing. Crimson Knight, I got lucky. Hard to find BA class in Manchester, Nashville. Lucked out with this current one. Yeah, for sure. BA is really tough in Manchester or Nashville. It's a tough area. I won't lie. I got out of the space for that. LOL. Termites put me over the edge, and the home is only 400 square feet, and still cash out with 0% cash and possibly 10K positive and still 30% return. Nice. Yeah. Termites, we don't have those really here. And so that's scary as heck to me. We have snow, ice. We certainly have, rodents and things like that, but termites is not a big thing up in the east. Do you have any pictures of this tins backsplash? I've never heard of that. Sounds good. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you where to go. Eric. Let's see. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. My lovely wife, but not urgent. Oh, shoot. I hit the wrong button. Hold on. It is. Come on. Here we go. Okay. American Tin Ceilings. American Tin Ceilings. American Tin Ceilings. AmericanTinCeilings.com. Yeah. They have tin ceiling tiles as well. And if you go with like a good enough pattern, you can get the ceiling ones that are 24 and then just cut them down so they slide into the track. If you want something that's a very ornate pattern, you're going to have to buy the one specifically for the backsplash. Because it's like you can get some of the ceiling tin ones for like $2 a square foot. So you're buying them at 2 feet. So it's basically 2 feet, but then your span is probably 10 or 12. So you're probably only talking like 30, $40 worth of product. And then you just, if you find the right pattern, you can, if it's like squares or something, you can then just cut that down and slide it into the track. And then you're covered. Yeah. Matt Herbert. Yes, we talked to Tina. All is good. Cool. We are actively looking for the next deal. Awesome. Glad that was a good hookup. Awesome. So there's the tin stuff. There's Matt contractors. Yep. Cool. Guys, that's everything. On your way out, if you would be so kind as to hit that like button if you haven't already. Really appreciate you guys. I'm going to go spend some more time with my kids and get ready for a car ride because I got to go pick up a stack of paperwork from my accountant. Really exciting news on the accounting side, guys. I could not be more elated. We're making a big jump to an awesome accounting firm. I could not be more thrilled. I'm super pumped to have him on the channel. He is a rock star. Yeah. And he's not just a CPA, he's an EA. And for those of you who don't know what the difference is, basically an EA can represent you if you get audited with the IRS, as opposed to having to hire like a tax attorney. So yeah, very, very, very cool. Dion, my man, you have an awesome week as well, my friend. I will see you on Thursday. Actually, I'll be there Tuesday night watching your live stream, and we'll hang out Thursday on the Three Amigos. Crimson Knight, glad the session was good. Good luck with your hot water tank, my friend. Pallavi Patel, thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, very awesome spending time with you guys. Wouldn't give this Sunday up. So yeah, I'm glad we were able to still do. I mean, hour 45. Man, how good are my kids? I'm gonna have to buy them golden arches. They just love the Happy Meal. They are huge fans of the Happy Meal. Yep. Not real estate related, but going to Boston tomorrow and heading to ski in New Hampshire, Vermont. Recommended any cool spots on the way? Yeah, JC Blast. Good, my man. Let's see. The best diner, and you can talk to Dan, the owner. Dan Pasternak, who owns the Roundabout Diner. It's on the roundabout right on Route 1 as you're going north, if you're going that side of things. You can talk to Dan or Scott, say, Matt, the lumberjack landlord, says hello. We're frequenters there before Eliana got sick. And great guy and spectacular freaking food. Everything they have a 2 hot dog deal. I get one with like beans and blue cheese, and then I get another one with beans and mustard and cheese. And oh my word, but everything there is spectacular food. So if you're going the Route 1 side or the Route 95 side, it's right off 95, super easy to pick up. Spectacular food. If you're on the 93 side of things, T-Bones in Salem, New Hampshire. T-Bones in Salem, New Hampshire. It's Americana. It is amazing food. You will love it. Guarantee you will dig it. Guarantee you will dig it. And so, yeah, and Crimson Knight too, if you're going up Route 3, skydiving and stuff in Sky Venture Indoor, that's a pretty cool place too. Yep, for sure. So yeah, I'm always focused on food because wherever I go, I want to eat well. If you couldn't tell. So yeah, so JC Blast, let me know if either of those are good. JC, where you going skiing, man? Tell me where you're going skiing and I'll tell you. Angel R, stay blessed. Appreciate you. Thank you. Hip Hop Silver, great work today. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was good hanging out with you guys. Kip Stevens, thank you for your knowledge. Prayers for you and your family. Thank you, Kip. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, JC, if you tell me where you're skiing, so Vail Resorts have the Epic Pass. Oh, I used to ski all the time. I don't ski anymore. It's been too long. So I don't know where that is. I mean, I know they own multiple places. I don't know which ones they own anymore. But yeah, 93 T-Bones, Route 1, if you're going up that way up to 16 and then like through Winnipesaukee, that area, then you want to be in like more like the Conway, North Conway, which is going to take you like Attitash, Cranmore, those places. Then you definitely want to hit the Roundabout Diner. So REI Trainer, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Smash the like button. I am not like Dion. If you don't like my stuff, just don't watch it. Don't tell me you don't like it. Just don't watch it. And then tell me something that you do want me to do. Love to hear how to vet a CPA. Have a great. Yeah, Karen, that's going to be. I totally cheated in how I got the CPA. I totally admit it. Completely cheated. I had kind of a light bulb moment. Happens every once in a while with us lumberjacks. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. That's who I'm going to go after. And I did. And I got him. And so I was thrilled. I'm so excited to have him as my, so excited to have him as my CPA, EA, everything. He's just, he's going to completely help me change my business for better. Mauritia Ninehauser, thank you for taking the time out. I've been following you for a while. Have a great weekend. Thank you. I would love it if you would tell me how close I got on your name. I'm big on names and making sure I pronounce them right. I have an easy name. So is it Mauritia Ninehauser? So if you can give me a phonetic of that, that would be awesome. If you're still here, I'll still hang out for the phonetic. Yeah, so I'm going to take the kids to the Golden Arches as a treat because they were so amazing. I don't think Mrs. Lumberjack's watching. I think she might say, why did you leave the kids alone for basically 2 hours? They're right next door. You know how our house is laid out. I'm justifying this now. That way I can just show her this part of the video. How do we find a good real estate CPA? I'll tell you. In fact, no joke, guys. I kid you not. I swear to you. I actually had that in mind when I was selecting my CPA or new EA. I actually had that in mind. I wanted to find somebody that did multiple state, not just New Hampshire. So I actually found somebody, and I did pose the question to him, how many states have you filed returns in? 30 was the answer, 30. And I think he's open to doing more states. But that was the purpose. And I said to him, listen, the portfolio is really big, 35 buildings, 106 units, like it's big. And I want active management of this from an accounting perspective. He's like, okay. He's like, that's more me. It's expensive, but that's more me. He didn't say it was expensive. I did. It's cheap in the long run, but it's expensive. But so I think it might be the right fit for you guys. But if you guys like Mark Kohler online, I think you'll be pretty impressed with this guy. So the most important thing to me, the lesson that I've learned over the years of having not this kind of CPA or EA was he didn't own rental property himself. That was the mistake I made. And so some concepts that I would bring to him, he was smart and could figure it out and follow up on it and do the work, but he didn't know it. And time is money. And so I want a guy who knows it. I want to know what his strategy is. I want to know how he structured it. That's what I want to get access to. So awesome. Hey, Samuel, would you like to say goodbye? Or Bryn? I think probably they told me beforehand. They were like, no, don't stop the live stream. We want to say goodbye. Okay. Samuel. Brad? It's probably the end of the movie. That's what I think is actually happening right now. Oh no, here they come. Hi. You can come in. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody? Hey, you were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch Moana?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you watch Blippi too?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well, now we're kind of done with TV for the day. What do you say? Would you like to do a special treat? Yes? What would you like for a special treat? What would you like for lunch? What would you like for lunch? If you could pick anything, what would it be?
Peanut butter.
You want a peanut butter sandwich?
Yeah.
You don't want a Happy Meal?
No.
Okay. Apparently, it's going to be a peanut butter sandwich instead of a Happy Meal. I love you. Okay. We're going to say bye to everybody. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. All right. Let's go have some lunch.
Okay.
Okay.